Hey beautiful people, thank you again for joining me under the palm. If you're new here, my name is Deborah and I do videos on Bible, health, and home with a focus on eschatology. But today I'm going to be talking about the health aspect and discussing autism. And I'm focusing today on tippy-toe walking and wearing AFOs to help adjust the tippy toes. So if that's something that is concerning you or somebody you know, or it's a topic that you were looking for, please stay tuned and let's get into the video. So, I don't know who might need this, but I do feel the need to get out content to help parents with different topics of autism. I have twins, they're girls, they're 10 years old, they were diagnosed when they were 3 with autism, moderate to severe, and I wanted to talk to you today about AFOs, which are type of leg and ankle support. I'm sorry, I don't know the technical names for them, and I will pop pictures or videos or something on the screen because I currently don't have them in front of me. Actually, you know what, let me grab them. So I have them right here. You know what, before I go into that, let me talk to you about the tippy-toe walking. So we noticed our twins tippy-toe walking from the time they started walking. There's a lot of different thoughts on why this tippy-toe walking happens. There could be a neurological component. It is prevalent in people with autism. So it's like a brain connection to the toes. A lot of times they believe it's sensory in that they like the really firm feeling of standing on high on their toes, and it puts a lot of pressure there. So that to be said, it's linked with autism and a neurological issue. So, but you can have tippy-toe walking in young children, like 2-year-olds and stuff like that, and they develop normally. All 4 of my children tippy-toe walked. I have 4 children right now, ranging from 15 to 10, and all those children tippy-toe walked. The 2 eldest had no diagnosis of autism or anything like that, developed normally. They stopped tippy-toeing on their own. Now my eldest stopped tippy-toeing on her own when she was 2. My son stopped tippy-toeing when he was 3, but he needed some help and encouragement to stop doing it, and I had to see a doctor and a physiotherapist and stuff like that. We did some exercises for his calf and his ankle and that stuff, but my twins kept doing it, and then they started losing their speech. They have what's called regressive autism. They had it. They were speaking in full sentences, counting up until they could count to 13. Actually, at their diagnosis, it's reported they could count to 13, and at this point, they use an iPad to speak now that they're 10. So you see there was a massive regression at the age of 2, and by 3, there was a diagnosis, and all that time, they were tippy-toe walking. Now, I did go to my doctor, and I said, you know, all my kids tippy-toe walked, and I do believe it's kind of hereditary, too, because my mom said I tippy-toed walked, or my elder sister. Actually, I think my sister said it, so I don't know if it's true or not, but she said I tippy-toe walked. So she was much older than me, so she'd probably remember. But the point is, it could be hereditary. It could be related also to this neurological problem, which could be hereditary. Anyway, there's a whole thing there. But I told my doctor that my twins were tippy-toe walking to the extreme, and what should I do? And I was really kind of told, it's fine, they have autism, this is just what it is, it's sensory. And I kept thinking, you know, for my son, I was able to get him to not to come down on his heels, and but I knew I could explain things to him. He was 3 and he could understand things, whereas the twins had started regressing where I couldn't even explain things to them verbally. So I couldn't go the same route with them. So I kept letting it go. I kept asking the doctor different visits, checkups for the kids and things like that. And I kept hearing, you know, it'll go away, or this is just it because it's autism. But they were so little, and they didn't constantly tippy-toe walk, but it was a lot. So I'm just saying this all for parents who are concerned. I mean, everybody's at a different stage. Listening to this, you might know somebody, but I want to tell you, it's really important that you address this for mobility. Now, some of you may be thinking, duh, like, of course, you can't leave it like that. But I know many cases, I know lots of people who don't know how to address this. And I didn't know what AFOs, which are like leg support, the thing I was showing you, which I'll get into more, like what it is and everything about it, but I was shown about that by another YouTube channel, and I have this channel in my subscription, so please subscribe to the channel. It's called Shaylas Voice When you get to that channel, you'll see it's a little girl and it's her parents and her journey with autism and another diagnosis, and you can go check that out. So I can link that channel as well. I'll link it in the description box or pin it to the comments or something, but it's called Shaylas Voice. And because of that channel, I was introduced to AFOs. No one told me, no doctor or anything. I wouldn't have known they existed. Now, by the time the twins were maybe like, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe like 6 or 7, maybe 7, I got really concerned because they were so light and small, but then they got bigger because they were older and they were still tippy-toe walking. I'm like, this is bad for their calves, their legs, their spine, their feet. They were developing what's called small heel, which is where the heel gets thinner than the ball of the foot. So they're thin, their heels are quite thin because they never step on them. So I started researching on YouTube. I don't know exactly when I did, but basically they've been in AFOs for 2 years. So since they were 8. That to be said is it was needed because the girls started getting upset about being on their toes. Now, because they enjoyed that sensory feeling, but they enjoyed it when they were like 30 pounds, you know, as they got bigger, it was harder on their body. They would stop, they would try. So basically what happened was they got so stiff, they couldn't go on their flat feet. They were on their toes so much they couldn't come down. And that's when I freaked out. I was tossing and turning at night. I did not realize they were stuck up there. They were stuck on their toes. I went to my doctor pleading, what should we do? All these different things. Only YouTube, because I found that channel. That's why I really felt inspired to do this, because I'm like, if it wasn't for YouTube, what would I have done? So I don't know why my family doctor didn't know. And at that time, I hadn't been in contact with my developmental pediatrician for many years. Now, I'll give you a little backstory. I don't know where everybody's journey is at, but, or who's even gonna see this video, but I just wanna say, if I can help even one person, I'd be happy, because I'm in Canada, and here you can have, you know, your family doctor, and you can have a pediatrician, or you can have a developmental pediatrician. Now, we had a great developmental pediatrician, so there's somebody who focuses on children and, you know, development, special needs and things like that. But we hadn't contacted her in so long because there's so much to learn and understand. No, you don't know where to turn, that I didn't even know she'd be helpful going along, because she gave them their diagnosis, but I'm like, well, okay, after that, where does she fit in? I don't know. So then I called her office and they were like, oh, your kids have been taken off her list because they haven't come in so long. Anyway, I had to fight and do everything it takes to get back with her, because she then, and it might be different for your route, whatever country you live in, but basically I needed somebody who had some understanding of not just children and development, but development with autism, because my doctor never recommended AFOs, whereas my developmental pediatrician understood this and she knew all about it and everything. So everybody's journey is different, but I just thought YouTube was kind of like my help for this. So anyway, thank you to Shayla and her mom and Asha, and that was great. So basically, I started going down the route of finding, how do you get fitted for this? We went to a prosthetic clinic. So if a person had to get a new leg or arm or something like that, this place makes these AFOs, leg supports. And so what happened was we also did physiotherapy and all this stuff, and we were just finally figuring out what is going on here. But the problem is, we figured it out when the twins' feet were very stiff. So it's a very long journey, and there is a new piece to this journey that I'm going to be documenting, and I don't want to get into yet, but once I'm finished documenting that journey, you will see where their feet are after that. So I just want to focus on AFOs for now, and then I will show you more about the journey of what we're doing with their feet. So just about AFOs. So because their feet, they were so high up and they couldn't be flat. Being flat hurt them so much that they have this heel. It's basically a wedge. So just Velcro it at the top. Their calf goes in here, Velcro it at the foot. And this is another thing I want to recommend. I'm going to have to put links to things. Now, it's the shoes that go with these. So these are called Billy shoes. But yeah, they're really cute. This is one of the twins. They have different shoes and different AFOs. Now, you can use any shoe, like a Walmart shoe or a sandal or whatever. I just found these are kind of expensive, but by the end I was like, I couldn't do it any other way. But and then it fits securely. This just slides in very easily, and then they walk around with these. So these shoes, I said they were called Billy. That's the brand and whatever. So these shoes, I feel like They're like $100. They're pretty expensive, but I mean, if you are going to go the AFO route, it is really just hard to get any shoe with that brace, get the shoe on. So anyway, we ended up just getting those. We've been getting them for 2 years. We've bought a couple pairs for each girl over the years. So yeah, kind of jumping all over the place, but so yeah, we finally got the prosthetic clinic to design their AFOs. They're custom fit. We used insurance, so we had insurance and stuff like that. I think they're pretty expensive, like maybe $1,000. So it all depends where you're at and how it all works. But the government ended up paying for half, and then our insurance, personal insurance, like my husband's insurance, paid for the other half. Then the shoes we just buy ourselves, obviously. So now the girls have been walking in those. They've gained mobility in their ankle, where instead of being, just completely flat, obviously, or instead of being super high in their toes, they're like more like this. And the goal is to get them like this, like obviously more flexibility in the ankle. So the whole point is your Achilles has been tightened. And then the next step for many people is surgery. So again, I'm going to go into more of their journey, where they're at and stuff like that in another video. But for now, I just wanted to focus on the AFO. So if you are concerned about your child tippy-toe walking, there's a couple things. One, if they don't have autism, they could grow out of it. You can go to physiotherapy, that you can explain it to them I used to say to my son always, feet down, feet down. I would just tell him and he'd come down. If I said it to my twins, they just wouldn't do it, So there is that sensory piece. It is neurological. I don't want to scare anybody, but that's part of it. I'm not a doctor, disclaimer. I don't have all the answers, but I just want to put it from a mom's point of view on what happened with me and my kids with tippy-toe walking. Like I said, all 4 of them tippy-toe walked. I tippy-toe walked. So I don't know what's up with that, but it was cute in the beginning. Everybody's like, oh, little ballerinas, they're little ballerinas. And then it got scary. So you want to keep the mobility. That's the key. You want to keep the mobility in their ankle. Just in finality, if your child is tiptoe walking, there's, like they might not have a diagnosis. They might not need anything, but just keep their mobility. That is the one thing. See somebody about this, and a physiotherapist can help you to know how to stretch their calf, stretch their ankle. Now, if they've lost their mobility and they've been walking on their toes for a really long time, this is something you should address, because the tighter it gets, it's just the worse it gets. And they may not need it forever, even if it's due to sensory needs and stuff like that, because there are ways to train them out of that so they can be in regular shoes, no AFOs, no surgery and stuff like that. So every case is different. You just don't want to let it go too long. And I just want to make people aware that this is out here. Now, I might be one of those people where I'm like, I didn't know, and everybody else is like, yeah, we knew, but I don't know why, no matter who I ask. Like, I couldn't have made this up. I couldn't have ever created to know this. Like, I could have never even imagined that this is the case, that they would have to wear this leg brace. I just have no experience with it, and nobody I've talked to, doctors or anybody, ever recommended it. So, really be an advocate, fight for your child, and pray and believe and keep hope that things can and will get better. So I hope that was good for you guys and interesting for you guys. Like I said, I typically do videos on Bible eschatology, so I don't know if that's like totally not for you, but it's about biblical prophecy, end times, like exciting stuff, biblical end times, and how it relates to what we're living in right now. But I also want to touch on health and just things with my home and my life that might benefit others. So thank you again for watching, and please like and subscribe. Comment down below if anything here helped you or you want to give any advice to anybody else. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.